You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and subbing me on Twitter the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Mice Tea. So yeah, my partner's trying to sleep behind me, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep it down. But before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know about that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel and get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to our upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. All those for patrons, y'all. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alarm chain, we're up. And let's go. Alright. I've never seen a bird that had feathers this big before. Are those real or synthetic?
It's a trade secret.
Huh, no problem. It's still really impressive though. There's all sorts of fun details. From my vantage point below, I can tell the flattery he's getting to Gavin.
Thanks, I'm really proud of it.
You should be. If you're not on a crowdfunding site yet, you ought to give it a try. But some people would pay money to see you make suits this good.
I hadn't considered that.
Oh, I think he's starting to like it. But why would he get all the attention? I'm the one who came up with the idea after all. I can tell I'm about to do something before my body moves to do it. Yeah, and you haven't even seen the most impressive part. I don't feel Gavin's heartbeat for another 5 seconds. Oh, my. Goodness, oh my god, that's so adorable. I'm surprised by how well I react to the adjective. Normally I'd find it condescending, but the sincerity he said with it makes my heart fill with pride. That, and the fact that he's definitely correct.
Yeah, this is, Margaret.
Holy crap, Margaret the mouse? That's too much. Can I take a picture as well, ma'am? Sure, I'm not going to let Gavin have all the fun. He steps back, beginning to take twice as many photographs. I resist the impulse to pose, keeping my paws clutched to the edges of the Gavin's pocket. If you're going to take the effort to look like a plausible costume, I'm going to do the same. Now you have to make some money with this suit. That's what I keep telling him. He's a very diligent boy.
Thanks, both of you.
So how do you do the Margaret part? Is it some kind of puppet? Is someone nearby with a microphone and controls it or something? He looks around trying to find such a person among the crowd. It's another trade secret, he laughs. Obviously. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. I bet a lot more people want some pictures with you. He walks away and it's obvious we'll only have a little time to ourselves before the next request.
At least the paramedics aren't gonna have to figure out how to resuscitate a bird with mouth to mouth.
Come on, I couldn't let you have all the fun. I told you people would believe the costume story. And I can do most of the talking if you'd rather keep your beak shut. An approaching couple forces him to decide quickly.
I'll take you up on that.
Oh my. Gavin's getting them bitches. Say cheese! 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 Two women on each side of Gavin's wing clutch tightly as they smile for the camera. His heartbeat tells me he's enjoying this more than most of the photos he's taken. Aw. After the phone clicks, one of them retrieves it from the stranger they asked to take the photo. Oh my god, this is the best pic we've gotten all weekend! You're such a cute couple. Wish I could do something like this with my partners. It's a lot of prep work. Gavin's been working on this for a while now. He's very handy and crafty. I just love the predator-prey dynamic, too. I've got that with my boyfriend in Arsonas, too. The what dynamic? Oh, like the mouse and falcon thing. Like it's a little dangerous and fun. Gavin, a predator? As if. He's a soft little marshmallow. I'm the one in charge around here. The two ladies laugh. I've kind of forgotten how small and squeaky I sound like this. Oh my god, really? Yep, I had to convince him to come in costume like this. He's too shy to get dressed and come on his own. Really? But it looks so good!
Thanks.
I told him all the girls here would be super impressed by what a handsome bird he is. Don't you agree? Totally! He's super dashing with all that plumage and his snappy outfit.
Oh, thank you. I don't hear that very often.
See, I told you everyone would like it, and I get to show off what a cute boyfriend I have.
You're sure?
Oh my god. Thanks for the pic!
Hey.
Glad to take it with you. I gotta say, not enough people do micro stuff for costumes. Is that what you're into? Oh yeah, one of my sonas is a mouse too. I have to get Artifer to do anything really fun on that scale. I don't really have the skill to do something with suits like this. Gavin here is a fan of micro stuff. At least he's a fan of me being micro.
I mean, I'd like you at any size.
Yeah, but I know you like the brushing and holding. I like it too. Oh, that's so wholesome. Yeah, Gavin enjoys taking care of me. All those little tiny breakfasts you prepare and those teacup baths you draw for me.
It's my pleasure.
Oh, I love it when the micros gets cared for by the big. Yeah, I thought it took a while for me to get used to it. I didn't feel like being fussed over, even as such a tiny mouse.
You know, water time. That's some good stuff right there, alright.
But Gavin's such a caring, sincere guy that I've come to appreciate it. I peek up out of the corner of my eye as much as I can without turning my head. Gavin, in turn, looks down as much as he can.
I'm glad to hear that.
Aw, you two are the sweetest. You're gonna go so far. I'd like to think so.
Oh, cute. Oh, man, I love all the different characters.
People taking selfies are always the hardest ones to pose for. At such close range, it's tough to maintain my animatronic-like posture. There we go. I back out to a comfortable speaking distance and I relax my body language. Thanks so much for the pic. You're welcome. Those outfits really are the best. And I don't mean just the suits. That clothing is really on point. If a fursuiter's wearing any clothing at all, it's usually just a baggy t-shirt. You basically never see something so well tailored.
Oh, thanks. I basically get all my shirts and stuff custom made.
Do you now? I don't think you've ever told me that.
It's actually pretty easy with online stores that take really specific measurements.
It definitely shows, and that dress is quite charming. Oh, thanks. Gavin picked it out for me. Sorry I can't climb out and show you all of it. I understand completely, and he has good taste, I must say. Glad someone thinks so. It was a little irked when he came back from the shop with it. I'd prefer something less froofy, but you're kind of limited when you have to shop for clothes at a doll store. I chuckle, taking my honest recounting of what happened as a fanciful story. I can imagine. What you need is someone who is an experienced doll maker to sew you up into something custom. Luckily for you, I just so happen to be one. You make dolls from scratch? From parts, yes, though I do sew the clothes from scratch. It's a more economical version of what you two do.
Oh, I had a friend who was into custom doll stuff. She mostly bought all her things, though.
That's how most of us start out, but after a while you start to make things you can't find. We had a panel yesterday about how to get started making your own doll accessories. I'm here in town and could get to work making something for you next week if you're interested. It might be a bit personal to ask a lady's measurements, but if you can spare those, it would be helpful. They chuckle, once again oblivious how apt their banter is. Yeah, that'd be super useful. Excellent. They pull out a card and hold it toward Gavin.
Oh, I'm not great at holding things with these wings.
I'll just send you a message then. Are you on A-Woofer?
Oh, sure, though I don't use it much. It's Peregrine Gavin.
Wait, why is it Peregrine?
Oh, it was my old first Sona that I never really did much with.
Wait, you're telling me you had a first Sona that was a different kind of falcon than the one you are now?
Yeah, I guess it didn't end up being a peregrine sort.
Oh, don't worry. I was a cow, a kobold, a protogen, and a ferret before I settled on Bunny. This person sure has a knack for taking comments the right way. Either way, I'm definitely teasing him about this later. It's a few hours of non-stop photos with con-goers, including sessions where we posed with all the bird fursuiters and all the mouse fursuiters. We stood in the center of both as the focal point. Gavin's talons are starting to get tired. I'm getting hoarse from having to project my voice so much. There's a break area where fursuiters can take a rest and maybe take their head off if needed. Gavin finds a corner to face and looks down at me.
Are you doing okay?
I'm doing great. I should be the one to ask if you're doing alright.
Oh, yeah.
You're not mad at me pushing you a little, are you?
No, I would have said something if I was. We've still got the safe word if I need to back out.
That's good to hear. I hope you're enjoying this on top of enduring it.
Honestly, I've never gotten so many compliments in my life. It really is fun to be the center of attention like this. Feels good to just be social again, too. Since the store's dwindled to just me, I've missed hanging out in big groups. I think this con actually did me a lot of good. Like, water time. How are you liking it?
Way more than I thought I would. After all this time stressing out about being a mouse, it's kind of nice to be around people who appreciate it. Like, I still want to transform back, of course, but it's kind of hard not to go along with the dozens of people who are endeared by it, even if they think it's all an act.
Yeah, people seem to really enjoy talking to you about it. You've gotten a lot of mileage by talking about how you do everyday tasks.
Seriously, they're eating that stuff up. Feels like I'm finally getting out of the deal. Getting something out of the deal. Something besides the fun we have together, that is. The corners of his beak curl into a bashful smile as he confirms no one heard what I said.
I'm glad you're getting something more out of it.
Oh, I plan to get much more out of the situation now that we know you can turn back and forth at will. Let's pull up some videos on falcon taming when we get back home, The smile takes on a different tenor.
Of course, mistress.
Let's get you nice and rested first before we go back out to meet our public, though.
The same for you.
He also went feathered to stroke my hair, so soft and satiny I make a note to ask for it again later. For now, I burrow deeper into his pocket. It'll be more fun to have later. I close my eyes and feel his comforting heartbeat lull me into a quick nap.
Day 7. I wonder how many days there are. The long road back. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. Okay. And that should do it. Open my eyes to see the same old desk as before. Gavin's keyboards, speakers, and the doll furniture sit exactly where they were when I last saw them. I didn't knock them on the floor with my feet or end up with my hair brushing against the ceiling. Even so, it only takes a few seconds to notice the changes. The edges of the desk are subtly closer, and his monitor towers over me just a little less. I approach the doll chair to see how its height compares with my memories. That's definitely lower than it was before. I have to text Gavin. My phone lies on its back on the desk, and when I step on it, my foot travels just a smidgen farther than it did last time. The sensation is like a stair being shorter than the one you anticipate. I've never been so excited over a moment of disorientation. I text Gavin to come out of his bedroom. A moment later, he's back in the living room and looking as tall as he ever has. I have a feeling it will take a lot more sessions before I notice any difference on that front. How'd it go? Do you think you're any bigger? See for yourself. I stand as straight as I can. It has a secondary effect of making my tail stick out like a broom handle behind me. Gavin grabs a ruler we used to measure me 30 minutes ago and sets the short end flush with the desk. Usually in situations like this, I'd press my hair down to avoid gaining a couple extra inches. There's no need to with my ears offering a much more objective measure of my height. He squints at the hatch marks before breaking into a smile. Oh shit, that's more than 1.5 centimeters. It might even be 2. Did it feel different this time? Maybe a little easier, or maybe I felt more confident it would work. But it felt like I was doing mostly the same thing as last time. I think it made me more confident it worked then too. Like, it felt familiar enough that I can go back and realize things changed more than I thought they did. So you're sure you grew that first time? I'm more confident I did at least, which suggests I'm getting better at it. Makes sense. I turned back quicker the second time I was a falcon. Of course, I was in a much calmer headspace last night. It makes sense that being... it would make sense that being calmer would help if it's all based on meditation. Which is good news considering I'm a lot less stressed about, well, basically everything. Gavin smiles but looks hesitant to pull the brakes on the good vibes train. So, seems like you're on your way to getting back to normal, though not quite as fast as we'd hoped, which might require some, decisions. He's right, of course. As relieved as I am about the prospect of turning back, it doesn't solve all my problems. It's like, water time. Like what to do about my job. So, I guess the question is whether we want to complete the process with just the 3 of us knowing. Yeah, I don't know if we can calculate accurately, but I'd bet it'd take a month or 2 to turn all the way back. And we need to decide if I can stay disappeared for that long. Basically. How easy would that be, you think? Well, all my bills are on autopay, and if I text my mom enough, she might let me get away with not calling that whole time. Or, I come up with a good excuse for why I sound like this. Gavin nods. That doesn't do much to help me keep my job. You can always hire you at the tea shop once you're ready to work again. I'm blindsided by a solution that seems so obvious in retrospect. Oh, I guess that could work. But I don't know, that's still a whole month of missing paychecks. Plus, I like Felix, and Sylvia might be concerned for my whereabouts. Potentially. Gavin bites his lip. Sounds like you might be considering something dramatic. Honestly, it might be the smart play at this point. A lot of things could happen between now and when I turn back. I might need to be somewhere in person, and that's a long time to hide. I'd rather avoid being caught like this, you know? If I let people know what happened, then it's more on my terms. And like you said, a lot of things could potentially go wrong. I'd rather have more than just you and Julie know I might need help. Also, I chuckle, I think the furry con convinced me it might not be such a bad thing if people knew I was like this. Really? Totally. Now, at least I know some people would be charmed by a tiny mouse lady instead of horrified. Heck, they might even feel protective about me. They'd get all up in arms if I get abducted away to some secret lab. He sees the logic, yet it doesn't stop him from scratching his neck nervously. Maybe, as long as we keep playing it safe. I have every confidence you'll make sure that's the case. He blushes at the compliment. Well, as always, it's your call. Just let me know how you want to do it. I run through a quick checklist in my head to make sure there aren't any obvious contingencies I'm missing. Well, we'd probably want to put it out in front of as many people as possible at once, since just so no one can act before the other people notice. But before that, it might be good to bring a few more trusted people into the fold. You mind getting dressed and seeing if I still fit in your pocket? Of course, mistress. Gavin walks to the front door of the bookstore. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It'll really help the channel. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!